Our word of the week this week is hate. Now, why on earth would I want hate to be the word of the week? We live in a time and in a society that throws the word hate around with the frequency of the words thee and and. Anytime someone is disagreed with or feels uncomfortable, they accuse someone else of hate. Hate, hate, hate. And as my beloved mother-in-law would say, hate is a strong word. So let's take a look at the word of the week. The word of the week is meseo, which means I hate, I detest, I abhor, or even by extension, to persecute in hate. If you hate something, you may act toward it driven by that hate. Meseo is a contract verb. That's why it has that apostrophe between the epsilon and the omega. And it can be used of people, of things, or even in the abstract. Let's talk about what hate isn't. Hate isn't disagreement or disfavor or a different set of values. Hate is detesting or abhorring, having a vile repulsion by something, reacting so strongly to something that you want no part of it, you want to completely distance yourself from it, you're disgusted by it. So someone who says, I don't like the choice that you made there, is not hating you necessarily. Some folks are going to need to learn to let go of that in order for us to move forward as fellow human beings. But let's look at some examples of our word of the week, meseo, in the New Testament. First up, hatred among humankind. All our readings today are from the ESV with the Koine supply. This one is Matthew 5:43 through 44. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So here, hate your enemies is meseses. This is future active indicative, second person singular. You shall hate, or you will hate. So, Jesus quotes Leviticus 19:18. You've heard it said, love your neighbor, you shall love your neighbor. Then he adds to it a popular teaching of the day that the converse should also be true. You should love your neighbors and hate your enemies. But Jesus says to them, I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So you don't have to automatically hate your enemies. How many of you feel like you genuinely have enemies? I hope you don't have any genuine enemies. I hope there isn't anyone out there scheming and plotting against you and seeking your destruction. Let us carry on and look at hatred for being affiliated with God or Christ. This is Luke 6:22. Blessed are you when people hate you and when they exclude you and revile you and spurn your name as evil on account of the Son of Man. And here, hate is mesesosin. This is also future active indicative, but here it's third person plural, whereas the previous verse was second person singular. So the previous verse in Matthew was you shall hate, and here it is they shall hate. So blessed are you when people shall hate you and exclude you and revile you and spurn you on account of the Son of Man. So because of your affiliation with Christ, they shall hate you. But he says you're blessed, makarioi, happy in that instance. Next, we're going to see abhorring anything that competes for supremacy in your life against God or Christ. So this is first, it's John 12:25. We're going to look at two verses. Whoever loves his life loses it, and whoever hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. And hates here is ho mison. It's a present active participle with the article, the one who hates or whoever hates. Let's look at the second verse, Luke 14:26. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Hates here is oumise. Mise is present active indicative third person singular. He, she, or it hates, but with the oo it's negated. Whoever does not hate, and then we get father, mother, wife, children, his own life. Is this a command, a demand for a person to hate his own family, biological and through marriage, and his own offspring, and even his own life? Is this a commandment to hate? Almost surely not. It's in contrast with discipleship. If you want to be a disciple, discipleship is a primacy role. If you're going to be a disciple, that discipleship takes on the top supreme position. Nothing can be on par with it. Surely nothing can be above it. If you want to be a disciple, you have to put that discipleship and that master above and ahead of everything else if push comes to shove. So if your family is interfering with discipleship, your mother and father, they have to come second to discipleship, etc., etc. That is a difficult thing to hear, and an even more difficult thing to put into practice. But the Christ of the New Testament told his disciples that that is the weight of discipleship. If you choose to follow this master, make sure it's an informed choice and that you're prepared to put it at the number one position of all things in life. Anything that competes with that position is to be detested and abhorred and hated if it comes down to it. Now we get Paul giving us an example of hate in the abstract. We're not told what is being hated here, but we can, by extrapolation, apply it to each of our own situations. This is Romans 7:15. For I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. So let's take a look at the second part of the verse in Koine. Ugar hothelo tuta praso, ala homiso tuta poio. So the first part, gar, for, then we go to the end of the clause, praso. I do not practice. I do not practice what? Hothelo tuto. The thing which I desire. Fellow is I wish, I desire, I want, right? So there are things in life that I want. And the thing that I want, the thing that I desire, he says, praso, I do not practice. Then we get the second part, al homiso tuto poio, alla rather, poio, I do. So what's the difference between praso and poio? Praso, practice, my routine, the things that I do in the world. Poio is a specific act, an action, like this is what I wind up doing. In my heart and mind, I have a set of desires. I have a desire to do something, but I don't do that thing. What is it that I actually wind up doing? I wind up doing ho miso tuto, that the thing which I hate. What is this thing? I don't know. It's in the abstract. Fill in the blank. All of us have things that we want to do. I want to lose weight. I say to myself, I'm going to watch my consumption of calories. But then when I'm in the store and I'm at the checkout line, I reach for the big Kit Kat. I do the thing that I hate. I eat the thing that I told myself I wasn't going to eat. Fill in the blanks. Whatever it is, in the abstract, what the human experience is I wish, I will, and I desire to practice one way, but I catch myself doing the very thing that I hate, the thing that contradicts my wishes, wills, and desires. Pretty wild stuff. So, our word of the week this week, miseo. I hate, I detest, I abhor. What is it not? It doesn't mean somebody disagreed with me, therefore they're guilty of hate. It doesn't mean someone has a different set of values or priorities than I do, and therefore they're hating me and persecuting me. That's just not what it means. So, miseo is a strong word, and it means what it means. It doesn't mean what it doesn't mean, as is the case with most or almost all words. So there you have it. Hope that was good for you this week. Go back and take a look at the verses that we see the example in. Break out your concordance. It's a word that has wide usage. Look at some others and see what you think. And until we see one another again, Charis Kairos Humin, grace and peace to you.